ritual games, the only thing I can think of would be probably Ouija boards as a teenager.
What was that like?
Vastly different to what you're led to believe, I should say, as a summary.
Okay.
Now initially I'd be about 14, 15. There's a group of us who sang round. This teenage group, and we had to go at the Ouija board, and it was all this get the correct planchette type thing, or no, it was a glass, and you had to have the glass upside down, and you had to have this particular kind of board, and then when you finish with it, you're supposed to chuck the glass in the fireplace and smash it, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And that's what people generally thought and do think you have to do. It's a certain way of doing it.
Did you follow any known printed rules?
Yeah, right. So that was that experience. Yeah, it was all the same. It was all that kind of thing. It wasn't an actual board. I don't believe it. I can't remember it.
Well, because I mean, people just write the alphabet and numbers on a piece, yes, no, on a piece of paper. Goodbye.
That's where I'm going.
Okay.
That's where I'm going, because that is what happened later when I was about 18. And it used to be myself and first wife and her friend and my friend. And they eventually got together as a couple, but at the time, you know, it was just things to do in an evening. And Ouija board, you know, I said, oh, I've done this before, we might as well go at it, because it seems, you know, a bit of fun there.
It was pretty benign when you did it the first time then.
Well, yeah, there didn't seem that much to it, but it was one of these, you know, topics you get onto and they go, oh, you can't touch that, you can't do this, oh, you can't...
Don't lift your fingers and...
We're teenagers, you can't tell a teenager not to do something. What are they going to do? They're going to do this thing, so that happened.
Idiot.
And, yeah, exactly. No, that's exactly what it is, though.
Or should I say Egypt?
Egypt, yeah. So anyway, it began, you know, we would be careful, we would use a glass, but I'm unemployed at the time. I ain't got glasses every, 2 or 3 times a week to be smashing up.
Yeah. Unless you open a new bank account every week, right?
Or something. I got a free set of towels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I opened a bank account, got a free set of towels. I thought, this is alright. I put like 10 quid, £10 in there. Anyway, so things started off that way, but it quickly developed into just getting a matchbox. Oh, but the major thing I recall was when I was moving in, I got boxes to move around.
Oh yeah, that heavy as a sweat and light as a feather.
I completely recall, yes. Heavy box of books, and you would basically put your finger on a corner of the box.
Well, what did you say, and how did this go?
I don't recall now.
Oh.
Like I say, I've just got these sort of partial memories in some ways, because it was, I don't know, 30 years ago. Anyway, and things became light as a feather. Yeah, well, 38, 14 days, whatever. Right, so, getting like ghost theory now, pedantic. So anyway, yeah, so just everything became really light, and you could just move whatever you want. But if I might slightly tangent, I remember on the railways, we used to travel as a little group round, various places around England on these cheap tickets. And there was a little game where you used to put your hands above a person's head, one after the next. You put your hand above the next hand, above the next hand, above somebody's head, and then you'd quickly all put your fingers underneath the armpits. Whoa, they hit the roof.
Yeah.
That used to happen.
Yeah.
Which is again a weird one. But very strange things seem to happen. So maybe that put me in a sort of a mood of, rather, some supernaturally type things must be going on. It's like watching magic shows on TV. Some of it actually is real.
There was no way the person that you lifted jumped.
No, because it happened repeatedly. And often just as a dare, the other person would say, oh, this ain't going to work, so they were negative anyway. And you do this thing, you put your fingers underneath, whoa, they go flying up, and because it was trained, it hit the roof of the train and things like this. Just mad. Really, really weird. And perhaps a similar mechanism as effect. In effect, that's what I'm kind of trying to get out there. But anyway, in terms of, the Ouija board experiences.
Did you do this with Neil?
Yeah, I guess so.
And you lifted him with your...
Well, I don't recall who was lifting who. Yes, he's a heavy set lad.
I know,
yes.
Neil is big.
Yeah. Anyway, in terms of back to the Ouija board stuff at the flat, yes, we met some very interesting people who you're thinking at the time, sure, like people like Merlin, the actual Merlin from Camelot, and how he used to, and how he used to say, do you know what? Really, a lot of this was just tricks, just parlour tricks. It was things that were quite effective. I get a warm coin out of my pocket and I put it underneath a cold glass and I'd say, watch the mists of time develop. And you get all this mist going off in the glass and they couldn't believe what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But of course the glass had been in a stream or something,
Mm-hmm.
they kept it really cold, he'd got the coin in his pocket. Well, of course, it's going to create that kind of fogging effect on the glass. Things like that. Not to say that everything he did was like that, but the way he came across, and I have no idea why he would still be around about 1,000 odd years later.
Yeah.
There's another side to this.
Yeah.
But how are we going to make it up too? And this is the other side. People always say with Ouija boards, oh, somebody's guiding this, somebody's telling people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, where the heck did Merlin come up?
How the
that
heck?
night? Yeah.
You know, my friend, ex-wife's friend, ex-wife, they've got no knowledge on these things. If anything, it would be me coming up with things like that, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, being a bit broader thinking sometimes, but it certainly was not me. And, John Lennon, folks like that, and you're like, come on, some of these have got to be just messing
What
around.
did John Lennon have to say?
Oh, he was saying about music, and if I wanted to dedicate myself, there's no reason why I can't be as successful as anybody else, kind of hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, guess who? You know, and about, if I wanted to take that path, I'd be the same as other people that he'd met, and he would certainly, help them along with their musical careers, which is great, because I never did have one of those, but it's good to have had that interaction.
You have a whole room of keyboards up there.
Yes, I know, and partially that's why.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of that way of thinking, and more so in the 90s though, with the dance music and such, house music and whatnot. But anyway, that's another side tangent. But the thing is, in terms of those experiences, everything went really great. I would say for probably something like 3 months. And we used to really enjoy those times. Until
it didn't.
It didn't. What happened was, got a message on the board that said, listen to that tree outside your window. So we listened, and we could all hear these branches. Now, bear in mind, I'm just renting this flat. It's on a, second story kind of thing. I don't really care. I don't really care to look about what's outside or anything. But I could hear this tree, and I thought, well, that's really cool. The curtains were closed, so I couldn't see it, and it was night time. And they said, things aren't quite what they seem on this board. You better watch out. And I'm like, okay, wonder what this is about. Next morning, I remembered the thing about the tree, and I thought, well, I'll just see how near that tree is. There's no tree there.
And there was scratching?
And there'd been that scratching of a tree on the window.
Well,
there was no tree there. That was the last time I ever bothered with that, thank you very much, because I knew there was something was amiss. Something was amiss, yeah. So then I was left wondering, especially, which of the people that were coming through were becoming friends with, as it were, that were actually being deceitful. And a means to an end, perhaps, grooming us in some way to do something awful.
Or do you think that someone on the other side saw that was what was happening, so they were warning you?
And stepped in. Yes,
yeah.
It could easily be that way. But that's my experience, yeah. Have you any experiences of it?
I would never touch the Ouija board on chicken. I don't think I have the mental clarity, I mean, as far as stability,
mentally? Yeah,
emotionally,
yeah.
to do a Ouija board. I wouldn't want to damage my mental health or anything like that.
Yeah. I just wondered when you were younger if you, in similar sort of teenage mindset.
I think we did girls have their sleepovers and stuff, and I think we did the one where you lay on the ground, and it was basically that heavy as a rock, light as a feather, or whatever that is, and you pick them up with everybody picks them up with their fingers.
Yes, that's
Never
the
worked.
It didn't actually work for you?
No.
Oh,
I was about 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah.
Oh, and then, like I said, caught my eye about in elementary school. It's right around 5th grade, so we were about 10, 11 years old. The girls, the naughty girls, I guess you could call them, would do Bloody Mary.
Oh, really?
In the bathroom, shut the bathroom light out. I'm in there going to the bathroom, and the mirror is right when you come in the door.
Hang on there, do Bloody Mary while you're in the toilet?
Well, I'm in the loo.
No.
So they would stand there with their hands cupped up against the mirror like this and go, Bloody Mary, Bloody. And I knew they chanted it 5 times. So I'm trying to get out of there by the time the 5th one's out. And I'm walking down the hall and I hear them all, ah!
Toilet roll hanging out the bottom of you. skirts and all sorts.
Yeah, they psych themselves out or just were having fun and shit. But yeah, I had to get out of there by the 5th Bloody Mary.
Oh my.
I didn't like the spooky, scary stuff, when I was a kid.
Well, speaking of which, what about that spinning the pencil thing? One pencil on top of the other. Does that
Charlie thingy?
Yeah, does that one work?
Yes, no, I've never tried that.
No, I've not. I'd like to, I think. I don't know what it does.
I don't know if you call dowsing rods a game. Well, no, it's not ritualistic.
No.
As such, so...
It's historical, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think people make these things up just to scare themselves silly.
Oh, they're there, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really know the Candyman game. I saw the movie. Ugh, that was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
The original. But I know, I'm not really into that kind of stuff. Why go looking for trouble like that?
Yeah, I know when Amy's Crypt, Amy used to do a few of those games, didn't she?
Yeah, she in fact, on that first investigation that I showed in our first clip, our first episode, she did the Ouija board. And I think that was the first time she had done the Ouija board.
Yeah.
And we know she's used it since. We've seen it in a couple other episodes.
They both don't seem to have a trouble with it.
No, I think it's what you put into it is what you get out of it. I'm scared of it, so I'm going to get scary stuff out of it.
I'd agree.
Yes,
I would agree.
You just, I trust you and what your experience is, but you hear so many stories, you just got to wonder, okay, like somebody pointed out in a video I was watching today, I think it might have been Beardo, I don't know, was saying about how these are young kids playing these games, and they tend to elaborate what they're doing and make up stories and stuff, so you don't really know what they're saying is true. But have you ever seen that video of a group of 3 girls playing Ouija board, and there's a camera going on, and one of them starts going, "Say little birdie, say little birdie," and she starts freaking out, and she got something. That was scary in hell. Yeah. She looks so terrifying. Her eyes are rolled back.
The message really is don't try it, because we don't actually get anything beneficial out of it as such.
No. And you never know what kind of deals are going
that's
down.
the other bit. Yeah, 100%. There's so much deception. You're opening up in a very negative way to anything, because you've opened up. You're allowing something possibly to come in. Yeah. People say that about EVPs. You're like, where are you getting that bit from?
Lorraine Warren was on.
Oh, was it Lorraine Warren?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Don't do EVPs. It's just like a Ouija board. I don't think the physical and mental connection is there with an EVP as it is the Ouija board.
No, at all. I mean, you're asking something to imprint themselves on the recorder.
Well, what if you're not even asking them? You're just talking, you get an EVP in the background.
Like you're trying to record bird songs.
Like Constantine Rodive.
Yeah, it wasn't Rodive that was recording, was it?
Yeah.
Birds, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he was in his garden recording the birds, and he played it back, and he heard voices in the background. Mm-hmm. And he knew there was nobody around.
Oh, he certainly didn't invite anything in.
No. Now, that's another topic we should get into sometime. I'll have to refresh myself on that. And how we work with the ITC bridge and stuff.
Obviously I will too.
Yeah. Oh, and the skull experiments.
Yeah, that's the kind of tobacco chew, isn't it?
That's a Scandinavian cheer. Skull!
Oh yeah, they used to have Skull Lager in England.
SKO with the 2 dots in it now.
I think it was.
Mm-hmm.